Let's do it. You ready, brother?
Ready.
Let's go. What's up, guys? Annibal here, and you're watching Dreams to Reality Podcast. This is episode 46. We're here in the lovely city of Pasadena, California, on a beautiful Saturday morning. And today we have a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the accolades of this guest is so long, the song might end before I finish. But I'm telling you guys, he's an extremely talented person. He is a cinematographer, a producer, a filmmaker, an established photographer, videographer, a renaissance man. He's actually worked with some of the top artists in the industry. He's collaborated with Nipsey Hussle, The Game, Dolla, Snoop Dogg. He shot way over 80 music videos. He's worked with some of the top companies when it comes to shooting commercials and shorts with Nike, Stella Rosa, and many more. He's also a U.S. Army veteran. Please help me welcome the great Jeff Reyes.
Thank you so much.
AKA Echosworld. Welcome to the show, brother.
That was a hell of an intro.
I know, man. You have a lot of accolades. I didn't even get halfway through them, man. You've done so much in your life, brother, and it's a pleasure to have you here today.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the invite.
Of course, man. So how's your Saturday morning going today?
It was good. Got to sleep in a little bit today. I usually don't. I've been getting up really early. Just we have East Coast clients right now, so just trying to deal with that
Time difference.
That time difference, yeah. So
they wake up 3 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Like,
so
shit,
like
I'm
when I'm
sleeping still.
Yeah, when I first started, like we were sending out emails. I was like, man, why are they sending emails so early? It's like 3 a.m. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no wonder, because they're up. Yeah, they're already on the East Coast working. So
that's fun. I have a couple of clients of mine that are day traders, and the New York Stock Exchange, I think it opens at 6 or something. Yeah. So they're up here in the office at 3 a.m, looking at the news, doing all this crazy shit. Like, man,
prep. Yeah.
I am not a morning person, bro, at all.
You got to join the 5 a.m. club.
I know,
I've been trying to join for a minute now.
I mean, all the books that tell you the top successful people, they wake up at 5 a.m, 6 a.m. Like, dang. All right, do I want to become successful or not? Yep. I guess you have to be an early bird to get that worm, right?
It really depends on what time.
What time the shoot is?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome, man. But thank again for taking the time out of your day to come out on the show. You know, I became aware of you not too long ago. It was actually during the pandemic where I first came aware of you. You actually did some photos for my ex-wife, actually, at the time, and she was working with a lot of different photographers, and the pictures were great. But then when you did her pictures, I was like, damn, who's this guy? He's really good.
Oh, thank you.
And she ended up selling canvases of them and stuff like that.
Oh, that's pretty.
So I was like, this is a great photographer. And then I added you at that time, and then I realized this guy's not just a photographer. This guy's a cinematographer. He's doing music videos. He's doing films, and I just kept on seeing you growing and growing and growing. And at that time, you're already an established person, but your success has really skyrocketed, and you just recently won a pretty prestigious award for a film, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that award. What's the name of it, and the story behind that?
It was the Illustrious Award, presented by the Mexican American Film Festival, the Film and TV Festival.
Awesome.
We won. I would say we, because it was a collective thing.
Yeah.
We won Best Cinematography for the movie called Addicted to You.
Okay.
And the film also won Best Actress.
Wow.
Which was given to Sonia Balcazar.
Awesome. Shout out to Sonia Balcazar for your award as well. Yeah. Is the film out already?
It's doing the festival runs right now.
Okay.
So you can only
How does that work, by the way, when you do a festival run with a film that you've produced or shot or acted in? I'm really curious in finding that out, because I'm brand new to the entertainment world, and I'm kind of curious in knowing how that works. So you shoot a film, you produce it, everything's done, and then you hand it to a film festival. How does that work?
Yeah, so it's a process of it. I always like to say that short films are expensive business cards.
Okay.
Because you spend a lot of money on and some people don't. Some people spend, some do it from the seam of their pants, and some spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But it's really about getting the film out there and putting it into festivals. Now, it really depends on the festival if they're going to accept you or not.
Oh, okay.
And I give you an example. many years ago, out of film school, I did a short film. It was 20 minutes, and I couldn't get it into any festivals. And then so I was trying to ponder like what's going on, like why am I not getting into festivals? I'm not getting selected. Is it good enough? Do I suck? What's going on? But it just came. I got some game spit to me. The formula on how to do it. I shortened it down to 3 minutes.
Okay.
And I got into more festivals that way. So it's really just the roll of the dice.
I see. So it sounds like for festivals, it's more like short films that they're more interested in looking at.
Yeah, but they also accept features, like Sundance and a lot of those
some of the bigger ones,
festivals.
they full-on feature films.
Yeah, they want those movies, specifically for films that are art films or films that don't really have big actors or stuff like that are more independent based. And you want to be able to get them to festivals so that they can be seen and seen by some executive that wants to buy it and put it on a network or something.
That's awesome, man. So a lot of our audience are aspiring entrepreneurs, artists, producers, a little bit of everything from all different industries. And over again, as I have more and more guests come on that are successful at what they do, we start to see a lot of the same trends when it comes to the work ethic, the mindset, the creativity. A lot of the same thought process works the same. But I'm really curious in hearing your story of what led you into the entertainment industry, into film, into being behind the lens. I posted on Instagram because I didn't know you were a veteran until I went through your page and I saw that you were a U.S. Army veteran. I put, looking from behind the lens of an M4 to now the lens of a cinema camera, so it looks like you always like being behind the lens,
For sure.
And before I hit record on these cameras, you're like, man, I don't like being in front of, like I wouldn't want to be in front of an M4 lens either. I'm just kidding.
I am not a fan of being in front of the camera, but it's all right. You got to do it.
Yeah, I understand. And I'm really curious in hearing that story. So you grew up in Los Angeles and, from doing a little research on you, it said that you were mentored by your godfather who got you into this industry. So tell us a little bit about him and, what was your inspiration to getting into this world?
My journey is a jambalaya of a lot of things. I just reflecting a lot like these past couple of years and like everything that I've done, like how I grew up. I was when I received the award, I was really thankful toward and I blanked out, which is crazy because I hate number one.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of speaking in front of camera, let alone in front of a bunch of people.
An audience receiving an award, it's
nerve-wracking. Whatever.
Yeah, hey, you're gonna have to be speaking a lot more, bro. You're gonna be winning major awards, so you got to start practicing.
So the first thing that popped in my head was my dad. My dad had a camera, this VHS camera that
people don't even know what VHS is, bro.
Yeah,
like, what's that?
It was this big giant camera, and it was his baby. It came in a briefcase. It was legit.
Do you remember what it was? Like a Canon?
I think it was a JVC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was a JVC. And I would sneak and use it, and do some stuff. And one day he caught me using it.
Yeah,
I was he caught me using it, but instead of him he got upset, but instead of him telling me not to use it anymore, now guess who was in charge of recording all the family events?
There you go. You want to use it, you're gonna be the one shooting it.
But then I took it to another level.
Okay,
I would do some crazy handheld movements.
Oh shit, you're shooting music videos of your
I was just experimenting. And then during that time, I watched Thriller. The Thriller music video came out, and they had a combo of they had the music video and the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that really intrigued me. The whole makeup process really intrigued me. So I got into trying to figure out the makeup stuff.
Oh wow.
And then Ninja Turtles came out.
Yeah, the first one?
No, part 2 came out.
Oh, okay.
And they were selling it with the combo movie and behind the scenes.
Yeah, I remember when they first started doing that, it was super, every single DVD and VHS that we bought, we would get it with the extended feature, all the behind the scenes stuff. That no more. I know, it's so interesting knowing how the movie is created.
For sure.
And seeing the actors getting into their suits or whatever it is. And you learn so much just from that. Sure.
So within that, I got more intrigued on the actual process of filmmaking because it kind of ruined the innocence of movies for me because I remember the first scene from that behind the scenes VHS was a shot of Michelangelo talking, right? His head, he was talking, and then they zoom out and it's just his head, and they had all 4 heads, right, with guts hanging out with the wires and
Yeah.
stuff. And I was just like, what is this? Like, I've been lied to this whole
Yeah.
time. I thought these guys were real.
Yeah.
And I'd come to find out they're animatronic. I was
Yeah.
a kid. But that it started to spiral. And then there used to be this show called Movie Magic on Showtime or something like that.
Sounds familiar.
Where they used to show like behind the scenes stuff again.
Okay.
And it just really intrigued me. And then,
How old were you at this time?
I don't know, 8, 9 maybe.
Damn, so
I was
you were
young.
the interest was sparked at a very young age then.
Yeah, I just for some reason I just like the behind the scenes stuff. Like my dad, our family was really big into horror. Like we had our horror nights.
Oh, okay.
So especially like Jason, like Friday the 13th, when those started coming out.
Yeah.
We would always make it an event.
Yeah.
But
My family was a zombie family, bro. We
Yeah.
liked all the
all
Romero
the George
movies.
Romero,
Yeah.
yes, dude, those things like traumatized me, dude.
Yeah,
You know?
I remember the first Evil Dead.
Yeah,
I was so scared.
Evil
on that
Dead
first.
2. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
Just watched it with my daughter. But those type of films, instead of, they were scary, and we probably shouldn't have been watching that at my age.
Yeah.
But the fact that my grandmother, rest in peace, my grandmother and my dad were very adamant on explaining to us as kids, like, this is not real.
Yeah.
This is how they do it.
Yeah.
And then when we would watch the news and watch all the crazy shit that was going on in the news, they would be like, this is real. This is what you need to stay away from. So they really fed into my, I guess my interest in filmmaking. And then from there I started drawing and then I got into tagging, and I kind of let the filmmaking world, go behind me. And
it's interesting you say that about how your parents kind of told you the truth for once, and for two, separated the two worlds, reality from make believe. Because there's I'm really into like true crime and serial killer documentaries and all this stuff. Yeah. And a lot of young kids sometimes get really wrapped up into the world of video games and guts and gore and all this stuff, and they don't know how to separate that imaginary world, and they somehow make it seem like it's the real world, and then they go out and commit crimes and do all kinds of crazy shit. So it's good to, have someone explain to you, like, this is not real life, and this is real life, and separating the two worlds. So that's very interesting. So you left the cinema world a little bit in the back, but you had your piqued your interest at a very young age. You got into tagging. Were you quote unquote, a bad kid, or would you say you were pretty straight edge?
I was curious.
Okay.
I feel.
Did you get involved in gangs or anything like that?
No, I had family members in gangs. My parents just wouldn't have it. My dad was really active in the streets when I was a kid.
You're Chicano?
I'm Guatemalan and Salvadorian, but I was born here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but
so you're Mexican.
I've been embraced by the culture.
So you're Mexican now.
I've been embraced by the culture and by the Chicano family. Like it's, my good friend of mine, Johnny Murillo. He started Chicano Hollywood. He's been.
So you're one of the founders as well of Chicano.
No,
Hollywood?
I'm not a founder.
Okay.
He likes to say that I inspired him to create that because when we were writing the script, like he spawned the idea from that.
Yes, I had Johnny on the show about 2 or 3 episodes back, and he told the story of how that came to be and how, you guys were on set, and he just called it, this is Chicano Hollywood, and it just clicked in his mind, and he brought you up as well on that. So it's interesting that, that whole thing came to be because of that production itself.
Yeah, and I know that people are probably gonna. I hate to say, like, I mean, not speak bad or even shine away. There's like, oh, he's not Chicano because he's not Mexican, and I completely understand that. I respect that. I don't call myself Chicano. I like to say,
hey, bro,
that.
You're Chicano to me.
Well, I appreciate that. But I do embrace the my kids are part Mexican. So I feel like I've been.
Yeah,
you're
baptized.
Honorary. I'm honorary Chicano.
And we talked, actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because we talked about how the Chicano culture is it's kind of spreading to different places, like in Japan. There's like a huge subculture of Chicano hip hop and clothing and style.
Overall, we're all brown. It's same blood and the same mud.
That's it.
I don't care if we're Mexican, Guatemalan, South American, whatever it is.
Yeah,
we're all brown.
That's it.
We're all one big happy family.
Raza, bro.
Hell yeah,
that's awesome. Sure. Yeah, and it's really interesting how the the Hispanic, Latino, Chicano, whatever you want to say, people are really starting to come and grow in the entertainment industry, in Hollywood, in major films, and producers, and we have like our own Oprah now and stuff, people that are owning major networks, and it seems like a really good time for our people as far as our growth and exposure, and be able to tell our own story in our own way. And one of the things that I really appreciate and I respect you for is your ability to tell a story through film, and to have certain emotions, because a lot of people don't understand what it takes and the amount of attention to detail and work that goes behind creating something like you do. And it takes extreme talent, extreme attention to detail, but as well, there's some things that are kind of intangible. You have to have a certain I don't even know how to say it. The people say, he has the eye for it, he has there's something there, So when did you get back into, film photography, picking up the camera again after leaving for a little bit? Maybe you tagged up a couple of highways and then you're like, all right, what led you back into it?
I feel like I never really left it. I always, so right after high school, one of my first jobs, I actually got thrown into the business.
Really?
One of my first jobs was as a photographer, but that wasn't my job. I was a graphic designer. And and my boss at the time, he was like, my photographer canceled. I don't know where he's at. Yeah. So you need to go shoot. Mm-hmm. And if you don't go, you're fired.
Oh, shoot. So you were forced.
That kind of vibe. Yeah. So I got thrown into it.
Yeah.
Into picking up a camera. But on top of that, I was mentored by my godfather, Bill Davis. He was a big gun guy, an armorer in the film industry, like 35 years.
I had a question for you. What is an armor? Because I saw that in your IMDb, and I'm like, what's an armor?
So anytime they use real weapons, so on set, you always use real weapons.
Really?
There's always a misconception that it's like, oh, well, those guns don't fire real ammunition. They're shooting blanks.
Oh,
so
shoot. They're real actual.
They're real
even
weapons.
The swords and knives and all that?
Yeah, they're real.
Shit.
I mean, for close-ups, it's always good to have something real, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're doing stunts, they switch it out for
rubbers
or plastic or whatever. But for example, Heat. Did you ever see Heat?
Oh, love Heat, bro.
He was one of the armorers on that.
No way. That's one of my favorite movies.
All of those were all real weapons, but they're shooting blanks. So an armorer is in charge of making sure that the weapons are taken care of, they're maintained, and that there's no accidents.
Okay.
On set.
Damn, you should have hired him for Alec Baldwin's movie, bro. Yeah. I think he just got out of that, though. I think they just settled it.
They dropped
they dropped it. That's crazy, man. But that opening scene with the armor truck heist,
yes,
one of my favorite scenes of all time, man.
Yes.
And even the dialogue in that movie is so amazing. I love that movie. The actors are great.
I got a chance to watch it on 65 millimeter with the remastered version. It's as beautiful on theater than it is in person. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It's amazing.
So he was an armor, and he mentored you.
Yeah. So it's interesting how we met. He used to be one of my instructors. I went to, because I was getting into so much trouble, my dad put me in a military school.
Okay.
Almost like ROTC. But they were a little bit more
strict.
Okay. More rough, I would say.
Okay.
A lot of our instructors were Green Berets, Special Forces, Marines,
yelling at your ass, get up, do push-ups,
and then
run around.
And a lot of the kids that were going through that school, they were renegades or like kids that are just getting into trouble.
Yeah.
But it did a lot of good. From that, he was one of my instructors. He got really close with my family, and he, I guess he saw something in me, like, man, you're really good with weapons. I have a job.
Yeah.
Come work for me.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into the business. He started teaching me like the rounds of how to teach weapons on set, how to safely use weapons on set.
So you work directly with the actors and you tell them how to handle the guns?
Eventually, yeah. I eventually got a chance to do that. But when I was working for them, I was basically just like cleaning the truck, cleaning weapons, loading magazines, so all the grunt work.
You're my dad.
I was the apprentice.
Okay, yeah, my dad's a carpet installer, and I would go to work with him, and I was horrible at that job.
Yeah. So
they just had me like picking up the trash. They nicknamed me Basurita Time. Basurita Time. Like I just came to pick up the trash. That's all I did. But yeah, any apprentice that starts off, you're gonna be given the task that nobody else wants to do.
For sure. But from that, I learned a lot. He, besides an armor, he was a prop master, and I got an opportunity to work on a lot of great movies with him as his assistant. I worked on Saw, the original Saw.
Yeah.
Scary Movie, 3 and 4, General's Dog. I mean, I did a whole bunch of movies.
Yeah.
That he brought me on, and from that, I really got to experience working a crew on film.
Yeah.
9/11 kind of put a stop to that.
Okay.
A lot of my buddies started to join, specifically the ones that I met in military school.
Yeah.
They
Did you graduate from that school?
No, I graduated from Chatsworth High. The school was an after school program.
Okay.
So we would have to go to school.
Yeah.
And then we would meet. At the time, we were meeting on Tuesdays. They switched to Wednesdays. We were meeting every Wednesday, once a week.
Okay.
And then on the weekends.
I see.
So it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. But I'm glad because it put me.
Look where you're at now, bro.
Yeah. I give a lot of thanks to that program and to all those instructors that. And one of my instructors was a big stunt guy. He's been working on the Fast and Furious ones.
That's a huge franchise, and if you got a gig on those type of jobs, like shit, you're getting paid good money.
Yeah. So I'm super thankful for the instructors, but not only the instructors, but the school that kind of took me in and started teaching me a different trait that I never thought that I would have ever imagined being in. I wanted to do something completely different.
Yeah.
So after 9/11, a lot of my friends started going, and I was going to school, and I just didn't want to be left behind. I felt like I wanted to do my part.
Yeah.
And I got what I asked for. I joined the Army, went to basic, and I was deployed a year later.
Shit. And was at that time, was it the Afghanistan war was going on first, right?
No, the Iraq war first.
The Iraq, oh, that's right. Fuck, I always forget. I'm like, who bombed us? Why the hell did we fight Iraq first? Like, it's a crazy time. There was a lot of fear in the air and a lot of patriotism and pride in our country. Which I think now it's completely opposite, which is kind of crazy. But at that time, everybody was proud of being an American, and we kind of united as a nation. Didn't really matter your race, your sexual orientation. Is like they're trying to bomb us, and we're going to defend ourselves and defend our rights. And I thank you for your service and for your duty to our country. What was your experience like serving for the Army and being in Iraq?
I feel like my experience, it's like none other. It's always a tough question to say, like, what was your experience? It sucked. You're deployed. My daughter was born in between that, so I didn't really get a chance to meet my daughter until after I got back, so like almost a year later. So that in itself, that experience sucked. Being deployed sucks, horrible. Man. It's like you're in combat. So
yeah,
there was no great thing about it.
Yeah.
Besides just hanging out with my boys and just doing our part.
So you were deployed in
we got to blow up a lot of shit. So
that's fun.
That was fun.
So you're in Ramadi, Iraq. You were a marksman and a team leader with the 4th Brigade, the 101st Airborne. So you were leading other soldiers at that time.
Yeah. So I was part of an infantry platoon or infantry company, and then my platoon we were. Within our platoon, we had designated marksmen, which I was one of them.
A marksman is like a sniper?
Yeah. We just weren't allowed to call ourselves snipers.
Why? Is that like because the snipers are usually like Marines or something?
No. There's Army snipers. It's the Army's funny. So if you because we didn't go to the sniper school, which was at Fort Benning.
Yeah.
We went to a version of a sniper school. We weren't allowed to call ourselves snipers.
Okay. So it was more of a...
I was a designated marksman.
There you go. But you can snipe people. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Some people don't really like to talk too much about their experience out there when it comes to actual combat. And were you in actual gunfights and combat, interaction with the enemy?
Yes.
Did anybody close to you pass away while you were out there?
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that?
All the above.
Okay. I know there's a lot of veterans and soldiers that, experience, the similar situations where they have to shoot someone, or someone that they know gets shot, or even they get hurt themselves. Their leg gets blown off, arm gets blown off. And there's a lot of physical pain, but there's also a lot of psychological pain that goes along with these experiences. These are what we call traumatic experiences. And any traumatic experience can develop, psychological issues, specifically for soldiers, PTSD, which causes them to go through, fits of depression, of anger, of, resentment. And then it's a completely different world where you're literally on high alert 24/7, trying to just not die, to now you're back in the civilian world where it's completely different. No one's shooting at you, but a lot of these people come back with those emotions and that fear still really, really high. So imagine you're constantly on edge, and now, your wife or your kids or someone coming to you and you're snapping at them, or you're going through all of these different emotions. And for a lot of people, it's very difficult, to remove that and come back to the world without all these issues. Did you have to experience any of that? And how would you maneuver through that for anyone that's possibly experiencing it? What advice can you give them?
I don't know if I'm qualified to give any experience. To give any advice.
This is your opinion.
Yeah,
this is your opinion, and
but
I
would say
experience.
I feel like we shine away from PTSD, like it's some sort of disease.
Yeah.
And in reality, and some of my brothers or some vets may agree or disagree with me, but I feel like PTSD is what keeps you alive, specifically when you're in a combat zone or doing some sort of combat job or even deployed in itself. You have to be on edge, and you have to constantly watch your back and watch your buddy's back to make sure that you all get home, right? That's the overall goal. Yeah. Besides completing the mission, right?
Yeah.
You want to get home to your family. You want to live and tell the stories.
Yeah.
And it's a tough transition from the military life to civilian life, only because I don't feel like we're taught that transition. It's like Vietnam vets or World War II vets. I mean, they went through worse combat situations than us, and we're over here bitching about it. We went through combat, when in reality we weren't storming the beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, exactly.
We weren't getting shot by 1,000 Viet Cong with no armor.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that that we did any less.
Right.
We did see some crazy shit.
Yeah.
We did have to do some crazy stuff. But I think in reality, I feel like we're failing each other. There's some sort of communication misconnection between military and civilian life that we're not teaching. And I feel like it's because it's like going to jail, right? It is. Anytime that I talk to some of the homies or have been to jail or in gangs or something like that, it's the same. It's the same process, I guess. It's the same institution. Right, we're all institutionalized.
You're there to survive, pretty much.
We're taught to think a certain way, to maneuver a certain way for survival.
Right,
and then when you are ready to get out, it's like, well, all right, good luck.
Yeah,
see how you do without us. I feel like that's where the disconnection is, and I feel like that's where a lot of us don't know how to process the trauma or process our experiences.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said, and it makes a lot of sense that, the military life and a life of a person that's incarcerated, prisoner, is very similar, because when people don't know this, but there's a whole sub-world within our world, which is the prison system. Mm-hmm. Once you're in the prison system, there's sets and rules and regulations that they teach you as soon as you get in there. Yeah. And if you don't follow these rules, they will take you out.
It's the same type of rules in the military.
Yeah.
Some people call it spreads. We call it Ranger pudding. You know what I mean?
That's fun. I never heard that before. Ranger pudding. So that's your guys' equivalent of a spread.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you still make them at home with your little meals?
No, I haven't. I actually, I bought an MRE because I wanted to show my son, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be teaching him all this sugar shit.
That's funny. For people out there that don't know what a spread is, so the prison system is full of just junk food, and the food that they actually get to the 3 meals a day is just trash. It's going to make you throw up, and it's just horrible. It's essentially the lowest grade of food next to like dog food. So there's like A, steaks, and B, C, D. They get like the F. Like it's just baloney and crap. So most of their meals are made through, their commissary where they can purchase, cup of noodles, some little sauces and packets of ketchup and mustard. So they become chefs, and they create their own, they call it a spread. It's just a bunch of shit put together, and there's a bunch of different foods that they make. And guess what? The military has shit food too. But they come in the form of MRI, which is what? It's pretty much like dry food that you have to like heat up with like water or mix it up and shit.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays these it's MREs, meals ready to eat.
Yeah.
And the MREs come with all sorts of shit: crackers, cheese, peanut butter.
They're jelly. Better now than before.
Yeah, now they have like Snickers and
oh hell yeah,
and like all sorts of candy stuff like that. Just like snacks. But it comes with like vital stuff. Like salt, sugar, creamer, like stuff. Coffee.
Yeah.
They come with a little bottle of Tabasco, which I hate Tabasco because of that.
Yeah.
But they have your meals, the ravioli or chicken or beef stew, all sorts of craziness, man.
What did you call it? Your version of a spread?
Ranger pudding.
Ranger pudding. What's like your one meal that you can say right now? This is what I used to make when I was out there.
I think like the main thing that we used to like doing, well, besides the Ranger pudding is, we used to ask for ramen soups. Like we used to get, we used to ship. People used to ship us, foods and stuff.
Yeah.
That one thing that we would always ask for is
get some ramen.
Give me some ramen, because you can cook whatever you need to. You can integrate all these ingredients from MRE and just make some six
your little spreads there. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Cool. So you left. How long were you in the military for?
4 years.
4 years. So once you left the military and you came back, did you immediately get into? Did you go to film school, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
When I got out, I was transitioning. I didn't think I was gonna get back into the business.
What did you think you were gonna get into at that point?
I wanted to become a cop.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah. You actually have a cop vibe, to be honest. Yeah. When I first saw you, like this dude, like I knew you were military, but a lot of military people have that same vibe, like a cop vibe.
It's a transition job. A lot of people decide to become cops.
Yeah.
It's just what you're taught, especially like in an infantry unit.
Yeah.
You don't have radiology specialists, cops, you know what I mean? They go become radiology specialists at a hospital.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. We use our training of what we learned and
then
how can we apply it somewhere else.
Civilian world,
I think that's why cops are so fucked up and why they do so many crazy shits, because they've learned combat tactics and now they're bringing them into civilian world, which that's just my hypothesis.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
So I wanted to become a cop. It didn't really work out for me. I was in between jobs. My godfather, he was like, "You're out. Come back. I'll get you work." I worked on a couple of movies. That's where I got a chance to work on Scary Movie.
Okay. As an armor at that time.
As a prop master.
Prop master. Okay.
I did a couple of other movies, but it just wasn't something that I was really
passionate about.
Yeah, I wasn't excited about it. I just saw there's no growth. Like, okay, I'm a prop master. Where am I going to go from here?
Yeah.
Am I ever going to get a chance to work with a Steven Spielberg type of director where I'm prop mastering for him?
Yeah.
And if I do, yay.
Yeah.
It's just not that I'm knocking the job, because it is definitely needed.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't something I was passionate about.
Right.
I picked up a camera, and the rest is history.
Dang. What year was this thing you picked up the camera?
2010, 2011.
Okay. So you've been a videographer, cinematographer.
Not a videographer.
So cinematographer. What's the difference to you, by the way?
I feel like videography, it's its own art. It's a person with one camera, and they just put everything. They're one band.
Okay. And a cinematographer, what would be your definition of that?
Cinematographer has to deal with the aesthetic of the shot, the composition of the shot, the overall planning with the director of a shot, storytelling within a shot.
Okay. I really want to dive deep into your philosophy when it comes to cinematography, because yes, you're right. Anybody that has a camera, a cell phone that has a camera on it, I guess you are a videographer. Yeah. You're a one-man band. You can record your little reels. You can record whatever. And this is important we talk about, because in today's age, social media is a huge way to market yourself. I don't really care what you do as a person. You could be someone that has a energy drink company. You started your own personal training business. You're a cinematographer. You're whatever you are. If you learn how to use a camera in the right way and put out your brand with the vibe that you want to put out, there's certain skills that you can learn from a cinematographer like yourself that can help you promote yourself and put you in front of a lot of people. The world is extremely competitive. For sure. There's a lot of people to do the same thing that you do. Why is Nike successful and why is your shoe company not making a penny? Why is this company being successful and why is this person not? And it's a lot, like I talked about it on the last show, it's a lot of its attention to detail. And I feel that a good cinematographer thinks about everything, the lighting, which angle to take, based on what message you want to put out. Mm-hmm. So I really want to hear, what is your philosophy when it comes to a film and creating a story?
My philosophy, I feel like it's more based off of technique. It's not, it's all theory.
Okay.
Right? Because maybe the technique that I use or something like that, I've learned it from somewhere else, right? Or it's just like, if we want to shoot a certain room, there's so many ways of doing it. So I'm going to use the theory of shooting one way that I've learned, right? Yeah. So I call it extrapolation of technique. Right? Okay. You learn from different people, from different masters of the arts, or different, or you're inspired by different filmmakers.
I love it.
And you create based off of what you've taken from each individual professional. Like I've learned from just observing people, and watching how they work and certain techniques, how they do it, and that may not work for me. I may take a little bit of him and a little bit of her, and just combine the techniques, and if it works for me, then that's good for me.
That's beautiful, man. And that's very similar to my technique on pretty much everything that I do. Like I'm also a musician. So same thing, you take a little bit of I like this style. I like the way he plays this here. I like this composition, like that. I like this. And then you take all of this information from, like you said, experts, and then you create your own thing. And I like that you said techniques. You went to film school. Is that where you learned most of the techniques, or did you learn them more from observing people?
To be honest, I really didn't learn much from film school. I went to a shitty film school.
Okay, I was going to say promote them.
No, I went to the GI Bill paid for it, so I'm thankful for that. But the school was actually they shut down because they were just a bad school. My boy graduated from there as a graphic designer. Yeah, and I was one of the first film programs. They had just brought the film program to that school. Yeah, and he was gassing me up. He's like, "Man, they're about to say you should do it, man." Yeah. I was like, "All right, well, let's do it." The GI Bill was paying for it, so yeah. But no, I think I learned more how to take criticism, and how to just really listen to people, even if it's bad. Critiques. Okay. Even if it's negative.
That's good, because a lot of people can't take any criticism. No. And if you're not coachable, teachable.
Yeah. Even if they're wrong, even if they're like speaking out of their ass, the fact that to have the discipline to just sit there and shut up and take it. Yeah. It's like the military, sometimes you just got to get yelled at. Yeah. And just take it. Yeah. But take that experience that you learned, or the value of somebody's opinion. Yeah. So that you can remold your visual or whatever, your presentation or whatever you're trying to show the world, and really hone it in and make it better.
That's awesome, man. So who are some of your I do have a question about this. What is the relationship between the producer, the director, and the cinematographer. How do they all work together, and how does that look in real life? Because I've never been on set on a film or anything that's like major production. I have my own digital marketing company where I shoot commercials for businesses, but I'm a one-man band. You know, I produce it, I direct it, I shoot it, I edit it, I do everything.
Yep.
And I just started this business. I didn't even own a camera a year ago. Like, I just started it. And so I'm really curious in understanding, you know, that role on a higher level, so that I can get a better idea. Someone writes a script, right? And then someone picks up that script. Who typically is that? Is that the producer, or is that the director? Or what is the timeline between someone writing a script and it showing up on TV or on, you know, a screen somewhere?
I feel like it depends, because depending on the project, sometimes the director, like in the indie market, usually the director already has a script in mind that he's pitching.
Okay.
And he's going to go to either a producer that has connections to money or something like that.
Okay.
But in the overall aspect of how a set works, the director and the cinematographer have the closest relationship.
Okay, so director, cinematographer are the ones that are the closest.
They're a marriage.
Okay.
Because without your cinematographer, as a director, I feel like you have a lot of things going on. You have to deal with cast. You have to deal with everybody asking you questions to get approvals. Do you like this? Do you like that? You're catered. You know, you're like, you're sitting on your throne, and you get brought food and get brought, you know, opinions. Like, I like this better. What do you think? You know?
Yeah.
While the cinematographer has to really plan and work alongside the director to try to figure out, how are we going to shoot this?
Yeah.
Right. How are we going to convey or tell a story based off of the director's vision?
Yeah.
And his direction on how we're going to be able to shoot this to show the world the message.
So, for example, you have a scene, right, that you're going to shoot, and then director comes to you and says, "This is the scene. This is the image we're trying to put out. This is the vibe. This is the, you know, the words going to be said by the actors or whatever, the script." And then you tell him, "This is my idea of how we're going to shoot it," or does he tell you, "This is how I want you to shoot it"?
It depends. There are some actors that already have something in mind.
Yeah.
And then the cinematographer has to execute that vision.
Okay.
But sometimes you have the ability or the leeway to be like, you know what, this scene, I think we should do it this way. Let's shoot it on a wider lens, or let's shoot it on a closer lens. So let's get really intimate and just shoot really tight. So having your cinematographer work alongside with the director, or even a production designer or something like that, where you can collectively bring in these ideas to really convey the message you're trying to say visually. I think is a dynamic that I feel happens with the director and cinematographer. And I've been on sets where directors just don't care about anything else besides just the acting, and then just let the cinematographer do
his thing. Okay. Yeah, and I think probably if you have someone like yourself that has shown that they know what they're doing, you could be a little bit more comfortable that they're going to be able to, you know, showcase what you're trying to do, and you can focus on a different aspect. So I think that's such a crucial thing, because I'm a general manager for a commercial property management company, and I have to hire staff. The hardest thing in any job is hiring good people, you know, but once you have a good, solid team that you can trust, that you know they're professionals, they're experts, they're going to execute, your job becomes so much easier. You know, imagine you have the top actors, you know, the top producers, the top directors. It makes your job so much easier. So I tell people, like, you got to constantly improve your own skills so that you can get to the level where you're on the same level as these people. And then collaborate with better and better people till you get to the top, and the cream rises to the top. You know?
But I also feel like it's we should all, as professionals, continue being students of our own craft, because I feel like it doesn't matter if you have the best team in your corner. You're all there to support the director and to execute his vision. And if you don't have a strong director, or if you have some sort of entity that's overpowering the director's vision, sometimes that message gets lost. And because, dude, you've seen there's movies out there that have top talent, top directors, you know, and the movie sucks.
Did you see the response to that Netflix documentary series, Cleopatra? The response that you had?
No.
Okay, that was really bad. They're like 0.3 in Rotten Tomatoes, and I think a lot of it had to do with that, with the director and direction. But who are some of your inspirations when it comes to cinematography? Who would you say you kind of aspire to be like?
I mean, Roger Deakins is
the Deke.
Yeah. Roger
He's the
Deakins,
top.
He's the man.
Yeah.
That's who I really inspired to be, like Roger Deakins, to be part of the ASC, BSC, it's like just to be a goat like that,
Yeah.
But I'm inspired by all sorts of people, like I love Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm also inspired by photographers, Peter Lindenberg.
You're an amazing photographer, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I know you've shot a bunch of models as well. And I mean, you've collaborated with so many different, top level people. So you must have a really great ability of networking and communicating to be able to do that. How were you able to get such, grow so fast and work with all these top people? Was it just your name became like popular in the industry and they reached out to you, or did you have to put yourself out there?
I think it was a little bit of both. I don't think that I'm at the top level, but I do like to say that I do have a certain way to work.
Yeah.
That most people that work with me kind of understand that.
Yeah.
I'm not the type where I'm there to party or anything like that. I'm here to work.
Yeah.
Let's not waste each other's time. Let's create something dope.
Yeah.
Because our name is going to be stamped on it. And there's tons of stuff that's out there that I've shot that I'm not proud of because it was either rushed or the message wasn't there or just something wasn't
right.
Wasn't to my par, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. And for someone that's a creative person like yourself, when you put something out, you want it to be the best.
Of course,
You don't want to have any little errors, things like that. And I feel that for someone that's high caliber at anything they do, they're their worst critic, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be your own worst critic in the way that it'll help you improve. Because I've learned the most from my mistakes, to be honest. Like you go on saying like, shit, I should have done this lighting. I should have done this different angle. I should have used a different lens, whatever it is. You're like, and you learn through these little mistakes. And as you learn, you get better and better and better. But always for people that are on the top level, there's always a little spark there. Even in the beginning, you see it like your godfather, he saw that in you. He's like, there's something there, they call it the it factor. So for anybody out there that's aspiring to be top at whatever it is that you are, if you have that it factor in that industry that you're in, whether you're fighting, whether you're acting, continue to pursue that and apply some of these, tactics to help you get to the next level. So what are you working on now, brother? Let's talk about the future. What's to come for Echosworld?
For Echosworld, as you know, we're a production company, so my goal is to continue producing and producing top content, dope content, content that people love and want to continue to watch it. I need people to support us more so they can give us more films. That is my ultimate goal. I love cinema. I want to make movies. Even though I'm proud and I'm grateful for all the opportunities for doing commercials and music videos, which commercials, again, that I just fell into that. I got the opportunity to produce a Nike commercial last year.
It's awesome, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That won us a Telly Award.
Yeah.
But even that just came into our lab. We knew that the director, and the director, we had already produced a couple of other commercials for him.
Okay.
He was like, I got this Nike commercial. I love the way how you work. Let's do it. Me and my partner, Oscar Arias. We produced that together, but it was the fact that we had already worked with him and he knew what we can do based off of what he gave us and how challenging it was and how we delivered and executed those plans that he was confident. It was like, if you can do that, you can do this. So a lot of my clients or people that I work with are just word of mouth. I'm super grateful for everybody that I've worked with that have great things to say. And even the ones that I don't have great things to say, I've learned from that too, from mistakes that I've done or just maybe things weren't executed properly or didn't come out the way that they wanted. I like to learn from every experience so that I can do better next time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So are you working on any films at the moment? Is there anything that's going to be coming out in the near future for Echosworld?
Yeah, so we have a movie called Horchata with Oat Milk,
Yes.
which my boy LV Visions directed it.
Nice.
Christian Leiva, which is also the director of Addicted to You.
Okay. That's the one that won the award.
Won the award.
Awesome.
Yeah, he directed. It's a feature starring Concrete, Jay Valentino,
My boys.
Jerry Garcia,
Yeah.
Duno.
Awesome. I've never met Duno.
Cool cat, funny.
Yeah. I've seen his Instagram. He blew up big time, like out of nowhere. I was like, damn, this fool, like, I remember when he had like 1,000 followers and shit, and he just blew up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's really dope. So I'm excited for everybody to see that movie because it's super funny.
Yeah.
And for any executive to see it, and so they can give us more money to make another part. So
there we
go. That's the ultimate goal. My goal is not to make movies and make tons of money. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, so I can take care of my family.
Of course.
But my power high comes from being able to hire friends and to bring in jobs.
Yeah.
Every time that I get a gig, every time that I get a job or client that comes in, I'm like, all right, cool. I could pay rent this other month.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's really dope. I get to not only hire my friends, but I get to create jobs and hire people.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate thing. As a business, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, I feel like we need to work like that more because we can't do it all ourselves.
Of course.
It is impossible for all of us to do it ourselves. Now, not that I'm saying that there's people that are not doing it by themselves, but they're going to burn out.
Yeah. Eventually, if you're burning the candle at both ends, it's going to burn out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
You do need to have a team of people that can support you.
Yes.
You can help each other grow. So I love that.
And that team is going to change.
Yeah.
Some people are going to come, some people are going to go.
Yeah.
But that's okay. As long as you collectively just continue to work together and learn from each other.
Yeah.
And stay humble throughout the process of whatever the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get rewarded.
That's awesome, brother. Well, I really want to thank you for all your wisdom and insight that you've brought to today's show. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure the audience as well. I'm really excited to see all of your work that's to come. For people out there, make sure you follow Jeff on his Instagram. It's Echosworld.
Echosworld, yeah.
Okay. What does that mean, by the way? Where did that name come from?
So, I was mentioning, I was a tagger. I used to write Echo.
Oh, okay.
And at the time, I was trying to build a website. I was really inspired by Universal Studios, the world, kind of thing. And it just came to mind, Echosworld. That was my first website. But I feel like it's
you still tag, by the way? You're like not on the highways.
If you look at my logo, that's actually my writing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
But I feel like my name is more of when clients come to me.
Yeah.
They want to work with me, but they're working with my world.
Oh, that's awesome, brother.
I'm bringing one of the best compliments that I've ever got was on this last project that I did. Our client, after we wrapped, she was like, "This is the most diverse set that I've ever been on."
Nice.
And I was like, "That's great." She's like, "I love that we came into your world instead of us bringing you the world itself." And I was like, "I really appreciate that. That's great." So
hey, bro, when you get that big mansion, you're gonna have that Tony Montana.
The world is yours. Yes.
Fountain right in the front of your house.
Yes.
I'll be like, but it's gonna say Echosworld. That's sick, brother. Well, guys, make sure you follow Jeff on his Instagram. Do you have a website?
Yeah, just go to echosworld.tv. You'll find everything that I got there.
Is it cool if I post the short commercial to your horror film that's coming up?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
What is the name of that one again?
Killer Oldies.
Killer Oldies.
Directed by Concrete.
Shout out to Concrete, amazing work. Shout out to you as well, amazing work, and all the actress that was in. What's her name?
Ashley M. Alvarez.
Ashley M. Alvarez. I just added her on Instagram. Shout out to her as well. She did an amazing job from the little commercial that I seen. Is that a full featured film? Or
it's a short.
It's a short. How long is the whole thing?
12 minutes.
12 minutes? Okay, cool. So we'll put out the little commercial. When is it going to be coming out for people to actually see?
Right now it's going through the festivals.
Okay.
So support and make sure.
Support it, guys.
Yeah, any festivals that you guys want to see it at.
Where do you get your money from to make a film?
It's either self-funded or we have investors.
Any investors out there that want some top quality work, you're looking to do a short film, a featured film. I mean, you're still taking commercials, right?
Yep.
Commercials, any businesses out there that want some high caliber work, make sure to reach out to Jeff on his Instagram. Do you have a website?
Yep. Echosworld.tv.
Echosworld.tv. Do you still do music videos?
Anything production, we do.
There we go, guys. Anything production. Make sure to subscribe to the Dreams to Reality podcast on YouTube and our Instagram, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you so much.